Welcome back to TTD here at the Trail Life live stream, or I should say, the daily briefing. And that was going to be my intro joke, but that didn't work out too well.
Yeah,
but it's super excited to be here with.
Well, I'm excited to be here with you, and thanks for listening to the briefing.
The one and only Al Mohler. We were just talking about some relationships that we have in common.
Yeah,
and, it's exciting. You have been such a proponent of masculinity in culture. And I was curious, we kind of want to stay focused on that during this interview.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what do you see the church's role in masculinity formation?
Well, let me start in an unusual place answering that question.
Okay.
Let me speak of something very troubling that's happening.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. So let me tell you, this is a major interest, concern, preoccupation for me right now.
Awesome.
And that is, why are we losing so many young men to other systems?
Right.
You know, and
when you say systems, worldviews?
Eastern Orthodoxy, Roman Catholicism.
Okay.
And and I'm just saying that there's something going on here. Now, let me also point out that this is, we believe, the first time in the history of the Christian church when more young men are attending churches than young women the same age.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. So the liberalization of young women right now is markedly setting them apart from young men.
Mm-hmm.
But young men are desperately looking for masculine space where they can be men, that they can learn from other men how to be a better man, and they are confronted with very serious truth claims and consequences. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So let me tell you the good news. We have thousands of those young men enrolled in our school.
Awesome.
Thousands. Okay, so they are out there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They're not interested in a little bit of anything. If it's about meaning in life, they want to know, where is the big slice? Where is the substantial stuff? They're not interested in being in an effeminate culture, which they see as basically telling them to get lost.
Right.
Okay, so that's why I'm very encouraged. Where you find conservative theology, you find men. And you find men showing up as men, and you find young men with older men, which, by the way, doesn't happen many places in our society.
That's right.
Yeah, except in the Christian church. Hey, it happens.
That's right. It's Titus 2, right?
Well, yeah, it's Titus 2, and I will go back. I'll say I think it's creation order. I think it's Old Testament. I think it's Abraham and Isaac and Jacob.
Yeah.
And, I just think this is the way God's people show up, and I think you present a vibrant, biblical, substantial, glorious vision of these things. I think young men show up.
Pastor, I get an opportunity to walk all over, go all over the country,
Right.
and pastors' conference. And the number one thing I hear from pastors is that we're praying every day on our knees. God, send me some men.
Yep.
God, send me some men. And we've kind of started saying that Trail Life is a men's ministry that starts at age 5.
No. Look, I think that is the big point. And God bless you. You know how much I've supported Trail Life from the beginning.
Absolutely.
And I say that as a boy who was a Boy Scout.
Yes, sir.
And I think there were so many virtues in a program that brought boys together. But now in this modern age, it's time for something new.
That's right.
In fact, frankly, an organization that knows what a boy is, and I mean, that's where we are. But one of the interesting things about that is that this, again, and we know this, the statistics are even recognized by, let's just say, the other side, and that is that boys are showing up in Christian space.
That's right.
They're showing up in Christian churches. And you know what? They love being around older young men, and they love being around older men, and they love being in a place where they are recognized and honored for who they are and for who God wants them to be.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've been really encouraged about, a culture we've seen 5-6 years ago was toxic masculinity, and we've seen this. The pendulum come back. There is.
But you know what? That's something we have to be clear about. We're not calling men just to be masculine.
Yes, sir.
We're calling them to be biblically masculine.
Yes, sir.
And that is a different thing. Now, by the way, even all that you see under what some people call toxic masculinity, I mean, there's some things that would embarrass us, right?
Yes, sir.
And we would say, yeah, that is not the masculinity we're calling for. On the other hand, I want to say, you know what produced toxic masculinity? Feminism.
That's true.
And so I want to say, if you hate this, well, you made this,
That's right.
And by the way, I will also tell you that I'm going to make one strong argument and then an almost as strong argument.
Okay.
The strong argument I'm going to make is the most important thing in turning a boy into a man is a father. And I mean a father who's deeply engaged. I mean a father who's in his life and a father who's going to make a man out of him. The second thing is being surrounded by good men.
Yeah.
Who will call out the manhood in him. And by the way, fathers know that.
That's right.
And that's why they care, who's influencing their sons, and they want that influence. So I think that's a big part of it. Is that I think our society, by the way, is trying to say we want boys to be men, but we don't need any men as a part of this.
You can't raise a man without the presence of men.
No, let me tell you something that I often point out in church. Okay, because I had to do this in a church just a few weeks ago, and I was talking to some of my students, and I said, I want to tell you what happens. I said there were a bunch of boys, and they weren't bad, but they were noisy. And they were rambunctious. And so a woman just tried to say, I need you boys to calm down. And it just wasn't working. I didn't know the boys. I was a visiting preacher at the church. I just looked at them and said, guys, enough. Instant.
That's right.
Instant.
Absolutely.
Okay. So all I'm telling you is God made a boy to hear a male voice, a man's voice.
That's right.
In a way that they do not hear other voices. It's one of the reasons why my father, when I was, 12, 13, 14, 15, had to tell me that I had to hear my mother's voice as totally authoritative because he was going to make it so.
That's right.
You understand what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah. So I had to learn to hear her voice.
He put the cloak of authority over her.
Well, he made things abundantly clear. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I mean, and that's to the glory of God. I'm saying this to honor him.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Our CEO, Mark Hancock, said the other day, I was in a meeting in Washington State with him, and he said more boys today have a cell phone than they do a dad.
Yeah. Well, that is incontrovertibly true and horrifying.
Horrifying.
That's actually a fascinating way to put the problem.
It is. It is. So one of the things that Trail Life is known for, and you know this, that a senior pastor has to plant the flag and say, this is a ministry of our church before we'll go in.
Yep.
We want them to own it. We don't just meet at the church.
Right.
That senior pastor says, and depending on his elders or whatever. And so we are saying that boys are the focus, men are the outcome, and the church is the steward. What do you think about that?
Okay, so let me tell you my own personal experience. I was a scout.
Yes, sir.
In a very churched situation. Okay, so I grew up in the Deep South. Mm-hmm. It was big Baptist church. Mm-hmm. It was wonderful, God-honoring. I was a Royal Ambassador, Baptist Boys Group. I was a Boy Scout. It was the same boys with the same men as leaders, it just in the same room on a different night. So I didn't know there could be a problem. I just assumed this is natural. And of course, a whole moral revolution took place.
That's right.
And ideologies came in. But I also came to understand that it's not enough that something happened at a church. Mm-hmm. It needs to be a part of the church's ministry.
Yes, sir.
And so I really appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
And I by the way, I think that's deeply biblical. I'm president of a seminary and a college. And I just, as much as possible, as loudly as possible, every day make clear we only exist to serve the church. That's it. And I think that's a good posture for Trail Life to take as well.
So one of the things that we're doing at Trail Life now, or we've always done, but it's been surprising to me. So I've been with Trail Life for 2.5 years. God broke my heart for where masculinity was in the world. And God brought me to Trail Life. And during that process, I've been surprised by the fact that we're not only this ministry to boys,
Yeah.
but that men are being discipled in incredible ways.
Yeah.
I-
I mean, why would we be surprised by that? Okay, so this is a part of the glory of God's plan and purpose.
That's right.
All right. So you take a text like Deuteronomy chapter 6.
Mhm.
When your son comes to you in time to come, asking what is the meaning of the laws, the statutes, and the ordinances the Lord has given us, then you shall say to your son, you know, dads are more faithful raising a son, raising children.
Very true.
A father is learning how to be a man, a father, as his son is learning how to be a boy, to aspire to be a man. And it is just fantastic.
It is.
My father was a tremendous teacher to me.
Mm.
And one of the things I discovered is that he would tell me when he didn't know something. And then he would make certain we found out how to know it.
That's a hidden secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to be vulnerable with my kids.
Yeah.
Daddy doesn't have it all together.
Right.
He's just a son
Right.
raising a son.
No, absolutely. So, and boys are boys, right?
That's right.
And so, like, I think the most important father-son engagements are often not scheduled at all.
Wow.
So when my son was about, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, he knew that I was trapped in the bathroom shaving every morning. He would show up while I'm shaving and ask me questions.
Oh, nice.
And it would be a continuation of the conversation the night before. And so he would come up to me and ask a question like, Dad, what is the most dangerous animal in Alaska? I'm shaving, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got to think, what's the most dangerous animal in Alaska? I said, I'm going to guess it's a polar bear or a killer whale, but I don't know which. I said, how are we going to find out? Actually, I found out there are very few killer whale killings of human beings, but
Right.
there are a lot of polar bear killings of human beings. So,
Wow.
but, you know, it was just good for him to say, you know, let's go look this up. Let's go find this
fantastic.
out. And so I'm just saying, you know, it was this wonderful thing where, look, I could answer most of his questions.
Wow.
And we could reason about it.
Yeah.
But it's also good to say, I don't know, but this is fascinating. Let's go read a book about it together.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, so hearing this, and I'm learning this for the first time. You had this incredible legacy of a father who intentionally poured into you. What would you say
And
to the
two grandfathers,
wow,
massive influence. They poured into me.
What would you say to the dads who are watching this now? We have 70,000 members across the country now.
Yeah.
1,500 troops
Right.
in churches around the country who will be watching this. What do you say to that dad in creating a legacy with his boy?
I think it's true of every man, every single man, that there is some man, if he's a healthy man,
Mhm.
there's some man who's in him all the time. So much so that he's not conscious of it.
Wow. Yeah,
So my
that's
wife
good.
and my sister will say to me, that's Dad.
Mm. Mm.
And I didn't even know what that was.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
It does, man. That's strong.
Yeah.
That's strong. Pouring into your son intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
I said something on an interview yesterday with Kathy Cook that just came out. We're parenting. A lot of people are parenting by osmosis now.
Right.
We bring them to church and we think they're going to get it. And then they go to university and then they walk away from their faith.
What I was just talking about in this session. Yeah.
Yeah. How does a parent intentionally not parent through osmosis?
Well, you know, I think first of all, and I was in a conversation with another man about this fact last night. Okay, last night I had this conversation.
Awesome.
A father is the only person who could have certain conversations with a son.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times when the father has to make that conversation happen.
Hmm.
Now, some of this, like 90% of it's going to come up just in common conversation.
Right.
But there are going to be times, like I came home one day from school and my dad worked so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was there in the house because it was his day off and he had to go in anyway to work.
Yes,
and
sir.
had to come back. And I knew he was tired, I could tell. I just walked in. He said, "Hey, change clothes. We're going on a walk." Okay. So I was like 13 at the time.
Am I in trouble?
No, I mean, he look on his face. I wasn't in trouble, but this is
Okay.
going to be a big talk.
All right.
Okay. So we walked and talked, and it was one of those things.
Yeah.
You know,
Birds and the bees or something like
well, it was kind of like Birds and the Bees Part 3. You know,
Okay,
you know.
all right.
I mean, something had happened in the family.
that? Yes, sir.
He just wanted me to understand, and it was good. It was good.
Right.
It was wonderful, but he just wanted me to understand what's going on, and I could, ask him any questions. And there's a certain point with a father and a son in which he said enough, and I've heard enough. So now you got to do something else.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, hey, so you can throw the rock the hardest, in the water. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just so. I mean, I think that's the magic of a father. It's the mystery of fatherhood, and I think that's something that. And again, if there is a boy without a dad, that I just pray there's some man who can at least be there as often as possible to say, "Hey, we need to take a walk."
Wow. Take a walk.
But I knew I could go to my father with anything. I knew that I was safe. I knew that he was this giant center of gravity and meaning. He's going to make things right.
Wow.
And
He was a good picture of the
I knew he
Heavenly
loved
Father.
me.
Yeah.
I was his firstborn son. I knew he loved me. So,
That's fantastic.
and as a 14-year-old boy, I'm articulating none of this.
Right.
I'm articulating it as a man in his 60s looking backwards.
That's where all the wisdom comes from, right?
Well, because as a 14-year-old boy, you don't know. You can't abstract yourself to say, "Oh yeah, this is what my father's doing." You just experience what your father's doing.
Right.
Later on, especially when you're a father with a son, you understand. Oh, that's now I got to take him on a walk.
And it took my dad effort to do that, right?
Yeah. And my father at one point when I was 13, because I remember the day. I remember the very day. My father just came up to me and said, "I want to make one thing abundantly clear. I'm going to say this one time. Okay? When your mother needs something, you take care of it. You don't wait for her to ask you to do it.
Nice.
You just take care of it. Are we understood?" Yeah. Okay. So, decades later, I found myself talking to a 13, 14-year-old son saying, "Hey, I knew what to say.
Yes.
When your mother needs something, you take care of it. You don't wait for her to ask you."
Yes.
And okay, all right. I didn't come up with that. I have a feeling that my grandfather took my father on a walk at some point and just said, "Hey, I'm going to say this one time. Listen really carefully." But I mean, that's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the glory of the Christian family.
How much of that do you think we've lost in the last few generations of just knowing, like, son, you're to take care of your mom, and that'll last you the rest of your life. You know that that's the highest, one of your highest principles.
Right. Well, look, I think we take "we" out of it for a minute. I think we have an entire society that's effeminate.
Yep.
And by the way, Christians have been concerned about this for a very long time. For a very long time. And I'll tell you, when Christians first began to be consciously aware of it and to talk about it out loud, and it was when fathers are not in the home, say as a carpenter or a silversmith or whatever, and when dad now goes to work in another place, that creates a whole new situation.
Oh yeah.
And it requires fathers, and of course, sort of the early industrial revolution. People can figure that out. Early modern age. Before that, it's not really talked about because the boy is in the house with his father all the time, or in the workplace, which is often attached to the house. So, the kid's never away. The son's never away from the father, or under very clear authority at school or wherever. Now we're in a very different situation.
Yes.
And because of that, it just raises the challenge all the more. And in a society, by the way, that likes men separated from home.
Oh yeah.
This is a society that conspires to keep men separated from the home.
I'm going to ask you one last question before we wrap up, and then we got something to give you. It'll be quick.
All right.
I can't, Dr. Mohler, thank you so much for being on this. If you were to look back at your childhood
Uh-huh.
and look at what you see today in culture, how important is risk and adventure and learning to be courageous
Yeah.
for young boys?
I think that's huge. Now I don't speak of that artificially, you know.
Right.
So I want to say, I mean, it's not like we're going to, say let's go to Ukraine and see if we can get in a battle.
Right.
I mean that's not what we're talking
That's right.
about. But it does mean the boy sees the father stand up and demonstrate courage in defending the truth and upholding righteousness and things like that. And it does mean you do need to put boys in a situation where they realize we're going to have to do the right things or we're not getting out of this.
Yeah.
And so I think,
And do the hard things.
yeah, get him deep enough in the woods. He's going to die if he doesn't have you there to get him.
That's right. That's right.
No, I mean, learn how to do those things.
Yes, sir.
And
That's right.
it gives the boy such confidence.
Yes, sir.
And I, because, hey, I'm here with you, so you're not going to die. So let's figure this out. But you're going to have to get this wrong before I'm going to make it right.
Oh man, I really appreciate that.
And I love that in my dad and others, other men in my life who would basically say, okay, how are you going to solve this problem?
That's right.
And I may not have done it. And then they'll say, well, all right, here's how you do it. But I really appreciate them saying, what exactly is your plan?
Yeah.
I mean, can I tell you a quick story?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I was all about cars. I still am. I just don't have any time to deal with
Right.
it. And besides that,
What kind of cars?
they've turned them all on computers. Oh, GM muscle cars of the 60s and 70s.
All right.
Oh, yeah, so I love that. I also love Mustangs. I had a Mustang.
So raw horsepower.
Yeah. I had a Oldsmobile Cutlass SS with a 454 4-barrel glass pack mufflers. All right. So I love the car, and my dad loved cars. He was really good. He had an incredible set of tools and all the rest, and he really fixed stuff and really taught me to fix stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so I had to put a water pump on my car, and he had given me the children's for my birthday. He gave me the Children's Repair Manual for a 1964 Fairlane. Which
I remember
car
those.
was. Yeah, you remember that?
I remember that.
So he had given me this because it was like $30 back then, but it told you step by step how to fix everything,
Right.
For that car model. So he said, how are you going to do this? And I said, well, I guess I got to get a water pump. And he said, well, do you need a used one or a rebuilt one? I said, I don't know. Which one do I need? He said, well, now that you asked me, you don't need a new one. A rebuilt one will be fine for a car that old. And he said, here's where you go. Okay, so I went and got it, and I came back. He said, what are you going to do? And I said, Dad, the water pump's under the motor block. He said, yes, it is. So a stupid place to put a water pump.
It is.
What are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, you have to put it up on you have to jack it up, put it up on stands. So he made sure I did it, made sure I had it right. And anyway, he said, I'm going inside. You follow the instructions. If you need help, you come get me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm under the car when all of a sudden, as I'm working through all this, I feel his presence. And so I just kind of rolled out and I said, Dad, I said, I didn't call you. He said, you didn't really think I was going to let you get under that car by yourself, did you? And so, I just thought, man, I look back now and I marvel at that was just a wonderful dad moment.
Yeah.
He actually let me think I was doing this for a bit and feel the thrill of, figuring this stuff out. But hey, he wasn't about to let his 16-year-old, under a ton of car without him being right there.
Oh man, that's so good. Dr.
Sorry, that was a long story.
No, I love it. Dr. Mohler, how do people get your stuff, the daily briefing, all the things?
It's just www.albertmohler.com. So albertmohler.com.
They get the
everything's
daily
there. The briefings there, Thinking in Public in the library, all the articles, resources, biblical exposition.
Oh, fantastic.
All there.
Well, can you hand it to me really quick? We got a gift for you. Now we will mail
All
it.
right.
We'll mail it to you. If you can't get it on the plane. By the way, the guy handing me this sword is a ninja. He is
Whoa.
He is a master 5th degree black.
Yeah. Wow.
But this,
Look at that.
and it'll hang on your wall. Put on the full armor of God. It is signed by Tim Tebow.
Look at that.
We did an event with him, and we can mail it to you.
You don't have to because we drove.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Fantastic. We will have to
Thank
mail you
you.
the mounting brackets, so they're magnets.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
No, this is very thoughtful, and what a great piece for Trail Life to give. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
God bless you. Great
Dr.
to
Al
be with
Mohler,
you.
thank you for being with us.